You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned. Everybody, it's Dr. Lady J. Welcome to another edition of What Up Baltimore. Tonight's guest is Jason Kee. Some of you may or may not know him, but you will know him before the show is over. Before we get started, I'm going to put up some information while we're waiting for some people to come on, Jason. I'm going to put up this information. It's going to be at the bottom of your screen. Now, listen. The show that I do on Mondays and Thursday nights is devoted to men and women who are incarcerated or who are just coming home, or not just coming home. You know, maybe they've been home for a while, but the purpose of the show is to give them a platform to be able to talk. But also, in doing this show, I always put up, I'm looking for it right now, y'all. I should have had this up already. I always put up the Cash App, the PayPal, and all of that, because here's the thing. I get a lot of calls from men and women who are incarcerated, and there's an app that I can now talk to them on. It's actually $10. That's the minimum that you can put down. So I always put up this at the bottom in the ticker tape. It'll be scrolling at the bottom for you to donate, because some of your loved ones are the ones that's calling me and texting. So, I'm going to put it at the bottom. Feel free, you don't have to, but it helps me out on my end to be able to have these conversations with them and to also do this type of program. So tonight's special guest is Jason Kee. Welcome, Jason, to What Up Baltimore. I know this is your first time, so welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And some of you may know him because he is the son of Mr. Bill Gooden. Now, for those of you who live in Baltimore, I don't know if there's anybody in Baltimore who does not know who Bill Gooden is. I think everybody knows who Bill Gooden is. And Jason, this is the thing. Your dad, and my son is 27 now, but when he was like 11, 12, all the way up through his high school years, your dad would come on WOLB with Larry Young. And I would listen to your dad and Coach Butch McAdams. I didn't know who these men were, but I would always turn the radio up because I wanted my son to hear what they were saying. Because I said, they're men of wisdom. They were doing good in the community. At the time, I was going through a divorce and everything. And I just learned so much from listening to them. And I never, ever thought in my life that one day I would be sitting here doing a radio show, having a conversation with your dad, being friends with him. But he actually had a hand in helping me to raise my son in the right way, because I was surrounded by females. I didn't have any brothers, so I didn't really know how to raise boys, what to do with boys, anything. So just listening to him all of those years, like it was years of listening to your dad. So I'm telling you, when I tell you I love your dad, like, and I just, he's so funny. I don't think he tries to be funny, but he is. And so, just listening to him, and I'm glad that I have a chance. Shout out to Darren Johnson, because Darren was on here. He's been on a couple of times. He was on last Thursday too, but Darren was telling me, I have somebody I want you to meet I didn't know that you were Bill Gooden's son. So, welcome to the family. But
Thank
so I'm glad you're able to come on. I'm glad that you're home. So we're going to have that conversation tonight. Those of you who would like to talk to Darren, you'd like to welcome him home, I'm going to put the number up on the screen. And you'll be able to, here's the number right here. I'm going to put it up. It's 443 297 4753. You'll be able to call in and speak to Darren and, give your well wishes. And thank you so much for all your support. So, Darren, how long have you been home?
I've been home now going on 2 months.
2 months. Okay. So you came home sort of around the time when Darren came home.
Yes, maybe about 2 weeks after he did.
Okay. Okay. And we love Darren. We love having Darren on. So we just like family here. So
Right.
just relax. It's like having a conversation, sitting in a living room, just talking. But so how long were you incarcerated?
On my previous incarceration, just now I was locked up for 5 years almost.
Okay, so 5 years, and
Yes.
then I wanted to ask you, and you said so you were locked up before then, also.
Yes, I've been locked up pretty much in and out like all my adulthood since my teenage years, and total I got around 20 years of being incarcerated, close to it.
Wow. So now let me ask you this: Are you done? Are you finished?
Completely finished. Change.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. I want to hear that you're not going back no more. That you are done. And let me ask you this: When was the first time that you found yourself behind bars?
Mm, Sincerely, around 18 years old, like where I was really like in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you had to wait to get like sentence and things like that.
How old are you now?
43.
You're 43. So around 18 and you're 43 now. So it's taking you like all of that time to kind of like, get it together. Now you realize you don't want to do this anymore, right?
Nah, I was over.
Yeah, it's done. I can imagine that because I'm not going to say that. I can't imagine that because I don't know what it's like to be locked up. I can't imagine that. But what's the longest sentence that you've had to do?
Um, 25-year sentence. I did. It was suspended, so I ended up doing about 8.5 years on it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And how do you I always ask everybody this question. How do you mentally work through the day-to-day process of being locked up? You can't talk to your family when you want to. You can't walk out the door when you want to. How do you mentally get through that every day?
Well, we people that adapt pretty much, to certain
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
so it's like you just grow to adapt to it and you prepare yourself mentally by just going through it. There ain't really no way to prepare yourself for something like that. You just have to, be strong enough to not let it break you and you deal with it, go through it. You hopefully you mature and grow into a better person and take the best, make the positive out of the negative.
Mhm. Mhm. And when you went in and then you came back out, how long were you out in between those sentences?
Mm, Never more than a year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think.
and I
Oh,
got a run where I was home for maybe like 2 years and change, and that's when this one right here happened. I went in and did the 5 years to finish up the previous incarceration, the probation of it.
got you. Okay. Now, let me ask you this: When you came out, were you in reentry programs when you came out?
I'm actually in one now. I'm in a reentry program.
But I mean, before, when you got locked up before and you came out, did they put you in a reentry program or did they send you home?
Just sent me home. I always
Yeah.
mandatory.
See, I think it's better, when they send people to a reentry program to
Yeah.
allow you to slowly, get back into society versus sending you home because I'm noticing the people that they're sending home are the ones that sometimes tend to go back because they don't have that stability and they don't it's I would think that it's so hard to after spending all their time behind bars, and then you're coming out and we're moving like this, like we're moving real fast, everything's going fast, and you're trying to catch up with us. So I think the reentry programs are better because that helps you to kind of get your feet established before you actually come out into the real world.
Yes, it does. I think it's very important for a person to establish structure, and that's like my main key ingredient as far as like what I'm trying to do is building my stepping stones to my future is establishing a foundation that's solid, man, that's built on positivity and networking with the right people and discipline and focus.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's very important to have the discipline to be able to stay on your straight and narrow because it's so easy for us to get sidetracked because
Yeah.
that's what you're saying, and that's what is glamorized so much by the culture and society that it become normal to like a lot of people, and that's how we get caught up in those traps. So it's all about breaking the psychological chain.
And that's the truth, because when you look at stuff on TV and on on social media, a lot of these younger people look at it, and I always say this all the time because I go to court with them sometimes. They act like they're going on vacation, or to a hotel. It's not even what I think sometimes is a big deal when I'm sitting in court, listening to their sentence, or knowing that they're about to go behind bars. They looking at it like, all right, I'm going in there with my homeboy or something, like it's not a big deal. And sometimes I just wonder where that comes from. Did you see that while you were incarcerated, like younger people coming in and not really taking it serious, being locked up?
Yes, they do all the time, and like in my last incarceration and like at the end of my previous one before this, I started getting into like trying to mentor, a lot of younger guys, helping them learn like read and write or just mediation with conflict, or thinking patterns and things like that, trying to help brothers learn a little bit about their self history.
Yeah.
So a lot of time they do come in and they're young, and so they glamorize it because they think it's a badge of honor to come to prison, but it's really not. That's just a part of the slavery that we in mentally to think something like that.
Yeah. And for some, I know, like they'll say like a street cred for some of them to go in, and get incarcerated. It's like that badge that they wear, like they've been in. I've been down for a minute. I'll hear them saying that. I'm just like, that's not. I be telling them sometimes that's not anything to be proud of. That you've been down for a little bit, because it's so many things out here that they could be doing
Right.
versus sitting behind bars. So what are some of the things that you're doing in your reentry program now?
Well, right now I'm in a like a drug rehabilitation program, and it's like a reentry program. So the focus point is like changing behavior patterns. So we have to go to like classes Monday every day of the week, but on the weekends we only go half the day. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm applying my own steps to follow my goals. So I applied for online courses to obtain CEU credits to a peer specialist because I want to become a counselor because
Oh.
my overall goal in the long run is to open up an organization working with the youth.
Mm-hmm.
So being a peer specialist gives me an opportunity to start getting into that field, and learning some of the counseling things that I would need to know in order to pursue that dream. And it also kind of helps me to like build a network while I'm here with people that's doing that already.
Right, right.
As you said, my father knew a lot of people, so I already got some connections with him too. So
Listen, you got a huge network with your dad. You got a huge. I'm telling you, I don't. If it's somebody in Baltimore, the only people that don't can't say Bill Gooden's name right now is the ones that's in the cemetery. Everybody knows who Bill Gooden is. Okay, they know who this man is. So you have a lot of support, and you have a lot of people that you can call on through your dad. And
yeah,
so make sure that you use those resources, because he knows a lot of powerful people, and people love him. So you will definitely have that support that you need. And when you finish the reentry program, so when you come out, you would like to go into counseling and working with youth. Is that what you want to do?
yes, man.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to start my own program with the working with the youth. Actually, I got a couple of ideas that I've been like working on, and
Mm-hmm.
business plan and how to apply for grants, and that's all a part of networking. When you try to put your ideas out there, and people latch on to it. So
Right. And this is one secret, Jason. I'm gonna tell you this one secret. Don't tell everybody your dreams and your goals and what you're trying to do, because there's so many people out here who will try to crush what you're doing. They will steal your dreams, your ideas. They'll tell you that you can't do it. So make sure that you have people around you who really believe in you, who support you, who are not going to put whatever you're trying to build, put it out into the atmosphere before it needs to go out there, because these people out here are wicked. They are wicked. I'm telling you.
that's I know.
Don't tell them nothing. Just ask your dad, And let me see, your dad was saying something, because I'm telling you, they wicked. He said, ask him what led him into trouble with having a father as Bill, and ask about some of his upbringing from a single father. Okay, I didn't know so your dad raised you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what was that like with your dad raising you?
Um, I would say it was really, a blessing, because growing up, I seen so many, my friends had single parent homes, but it was always the mother. Like, I was the only one that had a single parent father.
Yeah.
That was like a blessing, just to, grow up and see his strength, and see him always leading in a positive direction. And I really can't explain how I end up making the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Because he always was a good role model, and you know how he is. So
Yeah. Yeah.
thing was, like I said, the environment, it becomes normal, because we see it, we glamorize like the dope boys with the rappers and the stuff like that. That's what we seeing, and it's like these are the people that's looking successful. Like, even though my father at the time, while he's out there, fighting for the people, it don't look like he's successful, even though he created a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Young
Mm-hmm.
successful to you, because we still struggling. So
Right.
it became normal for us to see, like, and idolize things that's not meant for us to look up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's I had to work through and break that pattern. So in the long run, he's really my biggest inspiration, because I respect him more than anybody in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as we get older and we start looking at our parents, like, we see them in a different light, you know. Sometimes, like, I know for me, I'm a pastor's daughter, and like, it just got on my nerves that everybody knew my dad. He's the greatest man in the world, and he's a very great man, but I'm just like, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, because as people are looking at your parents, they're also looking at you as the kid, and they're expecting you to be great, like your mom and your dad, and you just yourself. You want to be you. And sometimes I think the pressure, sometimes you just cave into the pressure, because I know I did some stupid stuff, and it just made no sense because of my upbringing. I had no business doing some of those things, but I just caved into the pressure of everybody thinking that I'm supposed to be perfect because my dad is who he is and because he's a minister. So, sometimes I think those things have a lot to do with it. But your dad was asking, what was it that led you into trouble? What do you think it was that led you into trouble?
Um, just glamorizing what I was saying, the streets, and I into the streets kind of real early, and just being around it. And once I jumped into it, I kind of like took to it like a fish to water at the time. And once I did, it was like it became like an adrenaline rush. The lifestyle become like a adrenaline rush, and at the years and years of doing it, it's like it becomes hard to break it, because your mind, you have to really be ready for it. It
Mm-hmm.
can't just, like, every time I go to prison, you might say, "Well, I'm gonna not do it again. I'm gonna do this," but your mind has to really be prepared and ready for that challenge. It can't just sit. You have to really be mentally ready to make that change. Something has to go off to set it off in your head for you to make that change, and it takes the discipline. Without the discipline, there's no way to change it come. So it took me a while to become more disciplined. I had to mature more. I had to grow up a little bit more. Had to see different things. I had to understand that my purpose, that was a major thing for me, finding what I feel is my purpose. And I
Mm-hmm.
to give back to humanity and not take away from it.
Now, and this is a question I want to ask you too. So, like you were saying, you were glamorizing what was going on out in the street. But when you go inside, they still have that same kind of stuff going on inside, right?
Yes, man.
The same thing, yeah.
That
So it's
makes
not like you walk
that
away from.
right. That makes it harder for you to break the mentality because and it is the same things. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Going on
And
with certain lifestyles.
yeah, and you and I'm sure that it's hard when you make a decision to not be a part of what's going on in the inside. When you choose to not be a part of that and you choose to be different, I'm pretty sure that's hard too.
Yes, it is. And for a while, like in my younger days of my incarceration, I didn't choose to be not a part of it. I was in the mix, just like I was on the streets, because
Mhm,
that was my lifestyle. That's how, that was like that was what was radiating from inside me,
mhm,
my true self. It's like a persona that we build on, and it's like layers and layers built on by trauma,
yeah,
experience, environment. All that stuff plays a part in shaping that. And it's like you had to re-educate yourself and peel those layers back and get to the root problem of it in order to work those issues out and become a better person for yourself and those that you love.
mhm. And do you think, because you being a male, I think that my feeling is that you know boys do need their dads at a certain age. Like you need a man, to like be up in your behind after at a certain age, because they don't listen to the mothers after a while. But do you feel like in some of your decision making and some of the things that were going on in your life that you were feeling that loss of not having that mother there raising you and just being raised by your dad?
I believe so because I believe the mother is like provides the nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
and the father is like more like the disciplinary, the structure. So not having the nurturing, it kind of like I think it affected my maturity a little bit, and then also at times like kind of had resentful, thoughts towards my mother. But she was, I guess she tried her best according to what she had going in her life. It,
Mm-hmm.
which taught me like to be. She was like real religious, so she Christian. So she gave me the building of faith, having faith. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Whatever I decided to have my faith in. I know when I see her and talk to her that she really had faith. So I know that's a part of what you gotta have, even if it's just faith in yourself to
mhm,
gotta overcome. But you gotta have that faith. You gotta be able to believe in something that's not seen on the surface.
yeah. And you know what? I just wanted like pause there for a minute, because I don't think that I don't think that parents really understand how important it is to be in their child's life. I don't care what you're going through. When you have this little person in your life, it's so important to give them as much time and attention, nurturing that you can, because we only get this one time to raise our children. And a lot of times, what the things that we don't do is what causes our children to sometimes go astray and do other things. And so a, a lot of times I'm hard on the parents, because I feel like if God gives you that gift, to have a child and raise your children, that's something that an opportunity that everybody doesn't get a chance to get. And so when you have that opportunity to raise these children, parents, and I'm not talking to your parents, I'm just putting it out here in the
Right.
atmosphere to the parents, because these parents today, I don't know what's going on. They on social media dancing and twerking with them and doing all these other things. You're doing everything but raising your children. And so when your children start growing up and getting older, and they start being disobedient and they start doing things that you're like, well, why are they doing these things? You got to look at what you were depositing into your
Right.
children. And mothers, this is very important too. When you have a son, you gotta be that female for your son, to tell your son that he's handsome, he's gonna be great, he's gonna do, achieve great things. There's nobody like him, like he's wonderful. You have to be that first love in your son's life. Same thing with the men. You got to be that first love in your daughter's life, because you show them what kind of man to look for. You show your son what kind of woman to look for. And all of these things, I think a lot of this is missing now, because people are younger and younger having children. It's like children having children. And so a lot of these things are being missed. And we got a lot of children growing up, and the one thing I hear over and over again, Jason, is that the children, once they get in trouble, a lot of them will tell me, I'll be like, well, what was the problem? They'll tell me, well, I don't feel like I was loved. That's the main thing. I don't feel like I was loved. And I have to sit there and try to talk through it with them to find out what it is. Who do you feel like didn't love you, or who didn't give you the love that you needed? So it's really important. But shout out to your dad, because not only did your dad deposit stuff in you, but your dad has just, I don't even know if he realized how many lives he's impacted, you know? And so that's something for you to really be proud of and hold on to. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am. I have 3 daughters.
Okay. Now, so I'm talking to you, Darren. I'm talking to you, fam. Now, you got 3 daughters. How old are your daughters?
23, 21, and 10.
It ain't too late. So, you can still be that first man, that first love, to show them exactly how they're supposed to be loved and how they're supposed to be treated. You know,
Yes.
um, a lot of these young ladies don't know because they didn't have that male in their life to show them, how they were supposed to be loved and treated and all of that. And so that's your job now too. That's a part of your job now too. You got to do that now. So now that you're out,
Right.
and even if you call them every day just to say I love you, or talk to them to find out what's going on, how you feeling, what's been happening, because we love our dads. We don't care what you did. We love you anyway.
Yeah. I know.
Because you're our dad. That's just how it is. So Darren says, stay determined, bro, and take consistent steps towards your goals. It's not a doubt in my mind that you are going to do great things. Keep it up, and remember to stay laser focused. That's exactly right.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother.
That's
That's
exactly right.
a good friend of mine, and we just meeting like recently, but we kind of clicked pretty good, and we both kind of like on the same trajectory as far as like trying to make a better quality of life for ourselves. And
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
away.
Yeah,
You know,
Darren, talking to him, and somebody said this when he was on the show, that looking at him and talking to him, you wouldn't even know that he spent that amount of time behind bars,
right,
because first of all, he doesn't look like it and he doesn't talk like it. He's very focused. So he's a good guy to hang around. He's a good guy to be with. Now your dad said what did you well, he's saying, what did he do to try to keep you from getting caught up out there in the streets?
everything. He did everything. I mean, I can't say nothing that he didn't do, but
Hmm.
it was just it was in me at the time. I can't even explain it. As I'm older and I grew out of it and I'm learning and to change my patterns, what would make me be so caught up on a destructive way of life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you gotta live with your regrets. You just gotta overcome it and do better. Everybody go through their own struggles and their battles in life, and that was mine.
Hmm.
And even though they say, well, you missed your 20s and your 30s, I feel look at it like they ain't take my prime. They just created my prime.
Right, right. Because
Yeah,
you don't ever, I always tell people, don't worry about age. Don't
right.
worry about age, because you can still do great things at any age, so don't worry about age. But the one thing I do want you to think about, Jason, while you're out and as you go forward, I want you to really think about, like, what really caused you to keep going back, because it was something, and it wasn't just like, the streets calling you. You have to really look deep down inside of you to try to figure out what that thing was, because if you don't figure out what that thing was, that thing might come back again
Right.
and catch you off guard. So as you get older, and I know you're much more mature now to know the streets and to know what not to do out in the streets. So now you got to really figure out what was it. That's why I was asking you. Do you feel like that loss of your mom impacted your life? Like, you got to really dig deep and find out what those things were.
I believe
That
like
Yeah.
a persona created. It's like an image that, and once you like get so stuck into creating that image for yourself. You try to hold on to it, and because you might make progress in what you think is the way that you're trying to go, even though
Right.
so you stuck in that because you're looking like, oh, I'm this and this and this in this area. I'm out in the streets. You this person, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really a persona because none of us is built or born. You know what I mean, to be destructive in our lives or the lives of others. It's just something that end up being created as time go on. And I
Yeah.
was pattern because I created a persona for myself. You know, when I jumped into the streets, in my mind, I was thinking I'm going to be one of the baddest ones. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a legendary person in the streets or whatever I was doing. And once I created that persona, it's like how they say lies create more lies. It's the same way with that. You know,
Yeah.
adding more layers and layers because the situation is going to present itself for you to, you know, build on that persona and
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to build. So when the situation presents itself and you do it in a way that you thinking is the right way to go about it, it's like it's adding layers and layers. So that means you got more and more peeling to do once you mature and you grow out of it.
Yeah. So do you think you're at a point in your life where you really love Jason? You think you're at that point in your
Yes,
life?
ma'am, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Because the reason I was asking is because once we get to a point in our life where we really love us, then we stop doing those things that caused us to get in trouble, feel depressed, feel stressed. We stop doing certain things because we love ourselves enough not to allow that to happen again. So
Right.
that's why I wanted to ask you that question because that's very important. If you really love Jason, then you're going to make sure that Jason never
Go
goes
back.
back to prison again. You
I'm
know,
never.
yeah. And then you got three daughters. You got to be out here for your daughters. You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
you gotta be that man and that father for your daughters, and you got a 10-year-old, you
Yeah.
know. So you really gotta make sure. And then this is what I believe too. I believe that some of what your dad is doing has fallen on you, but you don't really know it or see all of it yet. And you'll probably be doing some of the things.
Oh, I see it already.
Oh, you see it. Okay.
I
Okay.
inspiration.
Okay.
He
Okay.
played a part, and the things he instilled in me, even while I was in prison and I was acting up, I always studied like the history of our people, you know, things like that. It's just, it was hard for me to get out of my rut that I was in because I had dug the trench so deep. You know, it took me a while to start putting the dirt up under me to stand back and build my way up out of that trench.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Your dad, like I know that he has to be proud of you being home. And that's another thing you gotta make sure because your dad is older now. You gotta make sure that he sees a new Jason, you
Right.
know, now that you're out, a new Jason and a Jason that he doesn't have to worry about anymore, you know. And
Right.
so because that's a burden that's put on our parents when we're out here and we're not doing what we're supposed to do, you know. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of things, and I know it's a lot to deal with. But like I said, the bottom line is it comes down to what does Jason want? You know, that's what it comes down to. Lakeisha Warren says, "Yes, bro, stay positive. Growth always works in due time."
Thanks.
And then who's this? Karen Sherman. She said, "Welcome home and congrats on your new beginning. Your girls are watching you. We love you."
That's my beautiful wife right there.
Okay, okay, Miss
Are you
Karen.
beautiful?
And you know what? That was gonna be my next question because I always have to ask because I'm telling you,
Are you
these
too?
women will be texting me like, "Is he married? Is he with somebody?" So I was getting ready to go there to ask you like, "Do you have a family?" You got so, ladies, he is married. His beautiful wife, her name is Karen. Karen, that's your wife.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Karen is his wife. How long you been married?
We're not legally married, but we've been together for countless years.
You know what? I think I met her. I did meet her
You met
at which
for the
she was
birthday?
at the last party, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. I did meet her. Yep. I met her at the party. Hey Karen. I remember her.
Hmm.
Okay, because your dad introduced her to me. So I remember her. Yeah.
Yeah, she
So
told me that you.
huh?
She told me that she met you there. She the one that actually said she's your father's friend. She was at the birthday party.
Oh, okay. Yes. And she said Aunt Peggy. That's right now. Peggy is a lady. She's like one of my best friends, and she does a show on this station. And she also introduced me to Karen. So I remember her. I remember her face and everything.
Mhm.
So this is the thing. I know that, and I was talking to Darren about this too, because we have the talk show that's coming up on the 29th, and Darren is still trying to see if he's going to be able to come. But I hope that you will be able to come. I know that you all have to get permission to come out, because it's going to be from 7 to 10, July 29th. And but hopefully Karen can come and represent for you, and bring the girls, and they, they can come and represent. So what it is, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I've been asked to do a pilot for a talk show. They're trying to bring a talk show to Baltimore, and I've been chosen to do the pilot for the talk show. So we're going to be spotlighting one of the segments. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on, y'all. It's going to be fun. But one of the segments is going to be focused on everybody that I've been interviewing that you see on, on the camera. Some of them are now able to come out, so they'll actually be on the stage with me for a few minutes, so you can get a chance to talk to them and, say hi and all of that and shake their hands. So make sure you come out. It's July 29th at the Downtown Cultural Arts Center. The tickets are free. If you don't get a ticket, don't worry about it. Just come on. We were just doing the tickets for account, but you definitely can come out, and it's from 7 to 10 p.m. Children are invited. Karen says she will be in attendance. Okay, Karen, I'm gonna be looking for you. I'm gonna be looking for you. So, and even for the people that can't be there, like, if you can't come, Jason, I'll still be calling your name, because
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to be calling out the people that, we wish could be there. It's not going to be online or anything. So, nobody will be able to see it online. It's going to be a taping. So it won't be televised right now. It won't. For now, it won't. But so it won't be on social media or anything. But we definitely are going to give you a shout out. But if you can come, I hope you can make it. I hope you can come out and be
Yes,
a
ma'am.
part of it.
I'm not sure how that's gonna go because I'm not in the. Darren was here kind of before me, so he's like a little bit more advanced with it.
Okay.
But I'm
Yeah.
gonna definitely try.
Yeah.
And
You
that,
know, yeah, because we would love to see you there. I know a couple of the guys were able to get a letter, something in writing, saying what they were doing and that they had been on the show. So, they've been given permission to come out to be with us for those few hours. So whatever we can do to help you, if we can help you anyway, let me know.
yes,
Because
ma'am.
we definitely would love to have you there. And so with you being in the program, Jason, how do you still get to visit, or does your family get to visit you being in the program?
Yes, they get the. We had visits on Saturdays and Sundays between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
I get to see my family. My father come on Sundays, my wife come on Saturday with my daughters.
Okay. Now,
So
do they get to stay the whole time, 1 to
yes,
4?
ma'am. One,
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Okay. That's really nice. And so, how long are you in the program?
it's a 6-month program.
Okay, so after 6 months, you can go home.
Yes, ma'am. I just had to deal with my probation for a year.
That's not bad, because I have some guys that are on probation, Jason, for like 10 and 12 years. They got 10, 12, 10 and
Parole.
12 probation. Yes.
So,
Yes. So a year, and at least you'll be out with your family. So,
yes, ma'am.
that's the great thing about it. You'll get to be out and enjoy your family, like enjoy this part of your life. Like you're in your 40s. So that's prime right now.
Right.
Enjoy your time with your family, especially your dad, because as our parents get older, we want to spend as much quality time with them as we can.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so I'm really wishing you well, and I'm gonna be following up on you too. You
I'm gonna
know,
be up on you.
look, these people will tell you I be like in the background when all the cameras are off. I'm be like, what you doing? And why are you doing that? So I be listen, because I don't want to see you go back. I don't want to see you go back anymore.
Not going back.
Yeah. So you got a lot. Your wife is beautiful. You got a beautiful wife. So she said he cooks dinner for the family. Oh, that's nice. He cooks dinner for
Oh,
the family while being there. That's really nice.
you
That
know,
is really nice. And the one thing that I want you to erase from your, especially your 10-year-old, from their memory is dad being locked up.
Right.
I want you to create new memories with her. And even with your older daughters, create new memories with them because it's traumatizing for the children. You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
with dad being gone and locked up, and times when we as females we need our dad, or we need to touch you, or we need that hug, or we need that face-to-face conversation, and not being able to do that. So that's traumatic. So those are some things that you can actually start building and making, like some new memories with
Right.
them, new things for them to remember about their dad. And your dad said, "What is my famous line to you?" He said, "What is my famous line to you about not going back?"
It ain't about what you say; it's about what you do.
I
he
know that's
said,
right, Mr.
challenge. He said, challenge is out here, not in there.
I know that's right. He's right. He's absolutely right
He
because we
absolutely
can
right.
say a whole bunch of stuff,
I'm,
but actions.
I always say that every time I was in there. This is the last time.
Mhm.
Right here,
Mhm.
different thing right here. This one was just. I know the focus is here now. I found my purpose. That's a major thing, is finding purpose and pursuing it. So when you find your purpose, it kind of gives you the passion to pursue your dreams, And it's like I know that's my purpose. I really know in my heart that my purpose is to give back. That's my
Yeah.
purpose, like my father.
Mhm. And don't, even in coming out, as you're coming out, don't try to do it all at one time. You know,
Right,
just do what you can do, because not only are you trying to do that, but you got a wife, you got children, you got the program, you got the parole. It's so many things that you're going to have to deal with once you get out of this controlled environment that you're still in. So you got to make sure that you use your resources, which are the people around you. And you got my number, even if you have days where you feel like, "Hey, Lady J, look, this is getting on my nerves. I can't," you got my number. I'll sit there and hold on the phone while you scream or whatever. But
right.
the thing is, use your resources so you don't go back, or you don't fall back into, old behaviors. Because
Yeah,
now is the time to grow up and be the man and be with your family,
right.
and pick up that mantle, that your dad has, and really start helping him and being out there and being a support for him.
Pass,
So,
Bill,
yeah.
pass the torch.
Look, I don't think, listen, your dad is not going to pass that torch. I think you're going to have to snatch it from him, because he is not going to pass that torch.
I gonna pass that torch.
And I love him because he will be out there protesting if nobody is out there. He gonna be out there protesting.
Yes,
And I love that about him because he loves his people.
right.
He loves his people. And this man, and I've said it before, we just honored him a couple of months ago, because I was saying, like, I watched this man over the years fight for people. He's fighting for stuff that may not pertain to him, but he's out there fighting, like it's really happening in his life. And so we just, we owe him so much. And so we want your dad to know too that we're here to support, him, you, your wife, your children. Like, we're all here to support you. We're gonna be that village for you. Um, Mr. Rich said, "Welcome home, cuz. Love you and proud of you."
Okay, that's right, cuz. How you doing?
So yeah, we are we gonna be keeping tabs on you, Jason. We're gonna make sure that you're doing good. I'm gonna follow you, be checking up on you, but I'll have you back on here again, because this is really good for a lot of the guys who listen, um, to what you all are saying. Those that are on the inside, we have guys who listen. They have their family members call in and they're listening to you all talk. So it's really encouraging. So I'll be having you on in some more, to talk,
Man,
um, to really help them. And Gary Thomas says, "Welcome home, cuz."
what's up, Gary?
So it sounds like you have a very loving and supportive family. And so, you know, like I said, use those resources,
Yeah,
use those resources. Like, forget what's going on out in this world, because your world now is your family. you know,
Right.
and that's what it is. That's your world. So I want to ask you, I always try to ask a couple questions. If you could say something to your dad right now, what would it be?
Thank you for showing me the way. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for putting the fight in me. Never to give up. That we can make change. That we are change, and it's take a people to do it. Unity, how important unity is, and supporting each other, things like that. He always put that in me. That it's
Mm-hmm.
important for us to support each other and for us to be unified, and organization, important to have an organization, and how if you become organized, you have a lot more momentum moving forward in order to, make the change.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
organize the people and, get things going and get more people to come to the side. It's all about just trying to change lives. You can't expect to change everybody's life, but I just would like to give more than I take before I leave here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
my father, he done gave a lot what he done took. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah. He really has. And if you could, is your mom still living?
No, she passed away a couple years ago.
But okay, but if your mom was still living, what is something that you would say to your mom?
Thank you for instilling faith in me. You know, praying over me, watching over me. Um, she was real religious, so I believe that her prayers, that when they go out into the universe, that sometime maybe they help protect me when I was out there in the streets,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
keeping me safe. Even though we don't understand it at the time that that's what's protecting us, we think you just a bad about, what I mean, out there. But
Mm-hmm.
it might be them prayers that they putting up in that universe is keeping you safe out there.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right. And what about your wife? What would you say to her?
you my world, you my inspiration. You the biggest blessing I have in this life. I know God put you in my life for a reason, for a purpose. You helped me grow up. You helped me be a man and responsible. And I just look forward to spending the rest of my life with you and growing.
And let me talk. Where's Karen? I can marry people, Karen. So whenever y'all get ready, let me know. I'm a chaplain, so I can marry people. Y'all just let me know. We gonna do the counseling and talking, and we're gonna go ahead and do that thing. And then you have I want you to also say something to your 10-year-old. I know she may or may not be listening, but what is something that you would say to your 10-year-old daughter right now?
That she a princess. That I always tell her she is. And that no matter what, that you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. I just want
Mhm.
you to focus and know that you are such a pretty and smart young lady.
Right.
Make me
Hmm.
so proud. I feel so honored to be able to call you my daughter, to be a father. That's like my biggest honor is being a father. Like, the
Yeah.
greatest life is being able to experience fatherhood, and to raise them and see the love that a daughter has for their father is just so touching. That moves me every time I see it from them, just to see how much a person can love you that much, it just really melts my heart every time.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, Jason, girls love their dads. Okay,
Yes,
and
man.
the dads really can do no wrong in our eyes. I know sometimes the mothers be like, he get on my nerves or this and that, but in the daughter's eyes, your dad, and it's just like that's just the way it is. And I think it's vice versa with the sons and the mothers.
Right.
Um, that's just the way that it is. And so your wife said that your daughter is on here. She said she's on here, so she heard you. Okay, that is so sweet. And the reason why I wanted you to say these things is because this video doesn't come down. And as they grow older, as they get older, this is something they'll be able to go back and look at to see, when dad came out, dad meant what he said. He didn't go back. These are the words that he said to me. And so this is something that they can always,
Right.
look back on. So you have two older daughters, two
Yes,
other ones.
Rio and Angie and Maya, I love y'all too, baby.
Okay, because we can't leave them out. We can't leave them out. So, what would you tell those two? Because they're older, they're adults now.
Just keep blazing the trails that they blazing. And I'm proud of them. And you finish, go ahead, finish school, do what you gotta do. You know, pursuing your education. She go to school in South Carolina at Benedict University, right?
Okay.
Going into her junior year. And my oldest daughter, she graduated from Frostburg, and she's doing pretty good working as things right now and pursuing her career. So just stay focused. I'm proud of y'all. I love y'all so much, and I'm honored to be able to call my daughters.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. So I think we covered. Did we miss anybody, Jason? Did we miss anybody? I
That's
think we have everybody. Yeah, I think we have everybody in the family. So but it's so important. Words have power. Words have power, and so when you speak those words into your daughter's life, into your wife's life, they have power, and then it inspires them as they're waiting for you to transition from coming out of where you are to coming back home. And so just remember to use your words, continue, both of y'all, Karen, both of y'all, continue to use those words with each other and letting each other know how you feel. Communication is so important, and just loving on each other. And not, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Do not let anybody get into your business, because these people out here, they will try to get in your business and tell you why you shouldn't do this and why she shouldn't do that. Everybody, mind your business and let these two grown people do what they're doing, please. Okay. And just support them. If you can't support them, leave them alone. Okay.
if
But
they
let
can't
these
support
grown
us,
people,
leave us
yeah,
alone.
leave them alone. Let these two grown people do what they do. So I love it. Listen, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, Jason. I definitely will have you back on again. Look, Karen said thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Yes. And so listen, everybody. This show on Monday nights, we normally do it at 8, but I had an interview, so I had to push it to 8:30. But we normally come on from 8 to 9 o'clock. And then on Thursdays, and I'm going to ask you to come on our Thursday night show too, probably next Thursday, because I have somebody this week. But on Thursday night, Monty is still incarcerated. Um, and he and Marco is still incarcerated. So I want to have you come on sometimes where you can have that conversation with them, because you're out, and you can have. Did you know Marco?
I might do. I know a couple Marcos that's in car.
Okay, because I know Darren. Marco introduced me to Darren.
Okay.
So you might know him, but yeah, so I may have you come on. I will definitely have you come on again, because I think it's good to have, for you all to have those conversations with each other, so you can talk to them and tell them what the transitional programs are like and how you're doing out here. And I kind of sit back and I let you all have that conversation with them. And that show comes on Thursdays from 7 to 8 o'clock. We talk with Monty.
It's good to just encourage each other too.
Yeah,
You know. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, any last words you want to say to anybody, or anything you want to say to anybody before you go?
I just want to say thank you for everybody, my whole support network. You know, anybody that's playing a part of my life that's moving forward. There's a positive influence, a positive motivator, an inspiration to not just myself but to the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
important that we all find a way to give back to humanity and don't take so much away from it, because it's our job to better, make it place better for the future. So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
the goal, and I hope that I got embrace more people that has those same type of ideologies, and we
Mhm.
network and grow a network together and expand.
Yeah, and I want people to, as you all are, as we're all celebrating Jason being out, Darren being out, um, we had some other guys that were on. We got a lot of guys that's been on, and shout out to them, who are really doing great things. By the way, Jason, these guys have come out and they are doing phenomenal things since they've been out. Some of them been out less than a year, and they're out here, like, I mean, they doing a lot. So for those of you who continue to watch the show, continue to reach out and support these men and women so they don't feel like they're out here alone. Make sure you're supporting them, encouraging them, letting them know that, if they need to call, or if they need some help, or they need some assistance, that you're available. Or if you can't do it, then you will find somebody who can, because we have to be that network and that fence and that guard around them while they're transitioning into this crazy, crazy world. It's crazy out here. And also, if you would, please donate to help this program to continue to reach out to the men and women that are incarcerated. Because as I said, they now have tablets, which I think are great. And I'm able to communicate with these brothers and sisters through the tablet just to say hi. Sometimes they're having a bad day. They'll send me a message, or some of them be encouraging me. Jason, they be sending me encouraging stuff,
Right. It
So,
go both.
yes. And I'm amazed by that, by the way. But, but for each person, the minimum that you can put down is like $10. So, to be able to talk and communicate with them. So if you don't mind, and shout out to Miss Rosa, Michael Lomax. People were, cash apping me last week and just saying, thanks for doing the program. You can cash app $LadyJFlava. It's LadyJFlava. You can cash app that. I don't care if it's $1, $2, or whatever. Every little bit helps. Or you can do Zelle, which is 443-297-4753. Or you can do PayPal, which is I'll never look back at gmail.com. All of this is up on the screen. So anyway, thank you so much, Jason, for coming on.
Appreciate having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. Shout out to Mr. Bill Gooden. Listen, and I want to say this to your dad before I go, because sometimes as parents, when our kids go astray, sometimes it's a part of us like, what did I do, or what could I have done better? Or we start thinking certain things. But you heard your son, and there you go. I
own up to it now. I'm gonna make it right. I love you.
And I just wanted him to hear that. And just want you to know, Mr. Gooden, you did a phenomenal job. I see a lot of you and your son. You even sound like your dad too. So listen, everybody, have a good night. Have a great night. My name is Dr. LadyJ. Now, don't forget Thursday night, we're going to be talking to Monty. Y'all make sure you tune in Thursday. This guy that's coming on Thursday, his name is Desmond Hanif Perry. When you hear about what this brother is doing, and he was incarcerated, it's crazy the stuff that he's doing right now. So he's going to be on Thursday night. Monty is still incarcerated, but we're going to have that conversation because Desmond has an event that's coming up on August that I'm definitely going to be at, and we're going to be sharing his event. But he's also going to be talking to Monty and some of the brothers and sisters that are incarcerated about how he's been able to adapt to being outside and doing all it. Like, this brother is absolutely amazing. So make sure you tune in on Thursday at 7:00. And we got some other shows going on in between, starting at 6 every night. So make sure you tune in. And don't forget, on the 29th of this month, we'll be at the Downtown Cultural Arts Center from 7 to 10 p.m. It's 401 North Howard Street. That will be the official taping for the pilot for a talk show for Baltimore with yours truly. Okay, so make sure y'all come out. Jason, if you need me, you got my number now. You can reach out, call me. Karen, if you need me, Karen, if Jason is showing off and he's not acting right, Karen, call me. Okay, Karen, you call me and let me know. All right. Let me know. All right, Jason. Y'all take care, everybody. I will talk to you soon. And my name is Dr. LadyJ. Take care. Make sure that you share this video because we want to always make sure that we empower and inspire somebody else. All right, everybody. Take care. Love you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the